So I'm going to show you something that uses a deck of cards, and any card can be selected. What's important is that the card is unique. So if you were here, you could sign it. But since you're not, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to actually tear that card. You could hold on to this piece as a receipt, or I can keep it in my pocket for you. Either way, it doesn't really matter. What's important, though, is you can obviously see the edges match, but you can see and feel that torn edge on your card. I'm going to place this in my pocket for now. If you're here, you could hold on to it. That's in my pocket. So watch, I'm going to do something pretty special with your torn card. I'm going to place it on top of the deck so you can see it. And watch. I just cast a shadow. Look. Just like that, your card completely restores. 100%. If you were here, you'd keep hold of it. You can take it home as a souvenir. You can look at it as closely as you want. There is no tear in that card. And of course, the piece from my pocket is completely gone. And that's how to tear and restore a card in total slow motion. Today is a very special Sunday session. I am teaching to you my visual torn and restored card that uses a signed card. It's torn and visually in slow motion, it heals itself. This was originally planned to be a download released after my famous Acme Hole download got released, but I decided to hold off against it. But now it's Christmas. It's the time of giving. It's Boxing Day, the day after Christmas Day, and I'm giving this to you completely for free. So I hope you all enjoy it. If you want to give something back to me and you love seeing and learning slow motion visual magic just like this, then all you need to do is follow my channel. Just hit that subscribe button and just get ready to be downloading all this visual magic goodness into your brain completely for free 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, like today. So I'm not going to talk any more about it. Get ready to learn this super slow motion visual TNR. So for this effect, you're obviously going to need to make a gimmick. The gimmick's really easy, but to teach it slowly, it's going to take like half an hour to teach. And I think it's just easier to show it to you because I believe most of you are going to be able to make this in a few minutes, and it's quite easy to do. So this is the gimmick, and I'll show you what it is. So it's 2 double back cards, so you're going to need some double backers. And well, this is what it does. So I'll show you how it works. This is the gimmick. This is an exposed view of the gimmick. You can see here. And there's a couple of things that make this work. So what is happening is I have 2 double back cards like this. However, this one, if you can get a nice good view, has a card that comes and slides up like this. So if I'm just quickly to remove this tape, you see I've got these 2 double backers here. And what I've done is torn one. I'll just grab a card like this. I've torn one of the double backers, not down, but I've torn it up to give myself a nice white edge. See? So one of the double backers has a nice white edge, like that. The next one is cut, but it's cut to make sure that it covers the card. So what I'm left with is 2 double backers. If I just do an exaggerated view, 2 double backers, 1 torn so you can see a white edge, and 1 cut so that when they line up in the corner, it hides the white edge, you see. So when I put thread through it, that white edge, when it slings back, will be hidden, just like this. So you can see nice and close. When I do that, see how it's misaligned, and then they come back and line up, and it looks perfect, okay? That. So once I've got these 2 cards, I hold them square together, and I put 4 pinhole dots through them using my little pinhole maker. So I've got one of these. I place a dot through here, there, and there, through both cards. You can see. And then using prim invisible elastic thread. So you can see I've got some prim elastic thread there. I thread through both cards at once, then tie a loop knot, and the same there, I just thread through both cards at once, so you can see, just like that, it runs through both cards. So that is made like this. And now, I take these cards, wherever the white edge is going to appear, that's going to be placed in view. So when I place them together, I take some magic tape, which is different to sellotape as it becomes clear when it's stuck down, and I tape it to both cards, right? So now I have this gimmick, which from one side is just flat, and from the other side, it looks like this. Now, obviously this is exposed view, so it'll look better in performance. It'll do that, okay? And that's placed on top of the deck. The other important thing to note is that I'm using a blue backed spike deck, because that blue cards hide shadows better than red cards. You should always use red cards to be signed on the back and blue cards for gimmicks. And then what else I do is I take a spare sort of torn piece, or the actual torn piece that I use from this, and I place it in my pocket ready for the performance. And that's it. That is your gimmick set to go. I'm guessing most of you can already make that in a couple of seconds or a few minutes at home. It's very, very easy. So here's how to perform the routine. It's really simple. Your gimmick, which is like this, is going to be on top of the deck with the double back card, so it's blank, face down, and the opening, like a crocodile's mouth, pointing towards the audience, right? Then any card selected, so you can fan them out and hide this card, so just don't fan it all the way. So it's nice to grab a card with a lot of white space on it so they can genuinely sign it. Now, as you collect the fan in, this will automatically turn the deck around so that the opening is now facing towards yourself. Right, so we begin like this. And let's grab out one with some white space on it, and let's go for this one. Now, as the fan rotates back in, the gimmick's now pointing towards you and you're set up in the right orientation. Their card is placed above the gimmick. So there's the gimmick, the card's placed above, on top of the gimmick, and they can sign it. Now you're going to get a double, but remember, if you just try to grab a double, you're going to miss that part of the gimmick. So you need to grab a double and run your finger up the edge to feel the gimmick so that it goes under it, okay? So you're going to get a double with a pinky break, and then run and grab all of that as one and flip it face down. Remember, lighting is important, because if the light is from the wrong direction, it's going to cast a black shadow. So you want a light source sort of behind you, like I have. That way, on a blue back card, it sort of hides and fades in, and you can't see anything. But right now, I have their card, which will be signed, followed by the gimmick with the double back this way, and the mouth of the gimmick opening towards myself. Now, what's going to happen is this. I'm going to fake tear this piece of card off. I have the spare piece in my pocket here. As I do this, I'm going to tilt the deck right back towards myself, so it's out of view, like literally like the angle you're seeing. But what I'm going to do is, when I show you a better direction, is I'm going to lift this up, squeeze the edges of the card with my thumb and middle finger, and I'm going to pull the gimmick out, the torn edge gimmick out, all right, like that. I'm going to do this sort of under the cover of my fingers in case anyone sees. So from the front, from the start, it looks like here's their card placed on top. I'm going to take everything and turn it over. Now I'm going to tear the gimmick. So I'm going to come up. From here, it looks like that. From your angle, I tilt up, covering everything, and bring the torn edge into view. Now, I'm going to use my thumb, if you listen, to make that tearing sound, or you can make it with your mouth when you go, but I prefer my thumb. And it's important to keep those edges squeezed. So I'm here, like that. So from the front, what you're going to see is this. They've just signed it, we turn it face down, and now I'm going to tear this card to make it unique. So You can see that. Boom. Now, it won't look exact with it if you were to look at it super duper close up, but they're not going to get that because you're about to offer it to them, and it's pretty good. It looks pretty perfect anyway. Remember, I'm still squeezing these edges with my fingers, all right? So otherwise, if I don't, that'll shoot in, all right? So if I don't squeeze, that'll shoot in. Now, here's a nice piece of deception that happens, is that I pretend I'm holding nothing, and I pretend that I'm going to offer the card to them. Even if they were here with me, I would say, you can actually hold on to this piece. Oh, actually, you know what, to keep these, I'll keep it in my pocket. I have nothing here. It makes them believe I have the piece, and it distracts them slightly. Now, what I do is I say, oh, actually, I'll put it in my pocket for now. And then I go in, I steal it from my pocket, but I hold it as in the same way as if it's hidden. So I'll put it in my pocket for now. But one more thing's important. And I sort of just come back out with it. Keep it, act like it's the same card, so I don't come out like this. I keep my hand in the same position, like as if it's still hidden there. I want to just give them a quick glimpse that it exists, sort of thing. So that way it's like, if they thought that I didn't tear it because my hand in any way looked funny, and then I went here, they would then go, oh no, it is there, never mind, like, he's just holding it like that. And I say, you can see the edges, you know, obviously match, and then you go back away. So it's like this convincer that you could hold on to it, or I can put it in my pocket, either way, oh, you can see they match, and then you just sort of flashing that it's existence, and it's just a convincer that it's torn. But what I'm doing then, once I have this, I'm going to place it in my pocket right in, like in a line, like down. So it's pointing, this line is pointing down, right to the edge of my pocket, because later on when I pull my pocket out to show it's empty, like this, that piece is gonna stay hidden down the edge of my pocket, all right? So, I digress. That's just a small convincer. I think it's an interesting piece though, so you can hold on to it, or I can keep it in my pocket. Either way, it doesn't matter. What's important is the edge. Obviously, you can see the pieces match, but it doesn't really matter. I'll place this in my pocket though, because we'll come back to it later. Boom, ready to go. Now, there's a few ways. Now we're going to do the visual part, right? But there's a few ways you can do it. You can do it from this position, which is okay, but it's a bit tricky, where you can literally slowly let everything flatten and release. Or you can do what I do, which is to make, if I feel this is just a bit stronger, is I just place it on top of the deck. And I'm remembering to keep showing them that it's real. They can actually feel this edge, which is nice. Place it on top of the deck. And slowly you're just gonna let everything slide in. You don't want to release quick, because it'll just do that. You just want to come down, add a bit of pressure. If you notice, I'm squeezing this deck. And as I slowly release the pressure, and the guys have just a small shake, it'll fade in. Now from my angle, I can see that, right? But from the front, because of the angle of the cards, it looks perfect. Again, just to let you know, this is what it looks like from this position. So you can see the card here. As I shake, it looks like everything sort of restores, but it feels kind of more like a vanish to me for some reason. But anyway, come here, show, this is already hidden in the pocket. Show, I like to show behind the card to show that it isn't, you know, it's not like a black art type effect that isn't, you know, that piece of card is gone. Place it down. I could do a cast of shadow or something. I get all the focus here, and then slowly it heals. Boom. Now there's this audible and visual convincer here where I say it's completely healed, and I don't go over the edge of the card, this bit here. I start my finger just where it's healed from and go back and forth. But otherwise they'd hear this, right? But this sounds really convincing. It sounds like it's fully there, which it is, because you're not actually going over the gap. So I go, boom, it's fully healed. And now you are just going to get a double, so that you can get two cards as one there. I come up and I run my finger to above the line of where this is. So there's that line. I make sure that my thumb is over it. You want to grab from here, because you could tweak that and it could come into view. So I run, turn, and now it's just a standard double to get everything turned over. So boom, turn it over. This card is flat because it's the back of the Gimmick. And you can let them see that it's fully healed. And at this point is the point where I would pull out my pocket and say, and it's gone from my pocket. Nobody will test you or check you for that. So that's it. That's the routine. That's how to handle it. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways you're going to come up with to make it look more visual or ways that are going to fit your performance style, depending on whether you're doing close-up or stage or parlor. But this is just the way I like to handle it. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. I hope I see you performing this out there on social media, on Instagram and other places, like I did with last Tuesday's tutorial, which is called TNA, a Torn and Ambitious visual rising card. I want to state one thing about this though, which is this is practical. You can perform this in the real world. It's just a card gimmick like Acme Hole and a bunch of other card gimmicks out there. There's not a lot to be caught on because it all looks copacetic. But what I do like to consider when I perform this is once that card is restored itself and it's healed, it sounds silly, I like to imagine that it really has. And when I'm saying to them and I'm rubbing the back of that card that it's really healed. Sometimes people can execute convincers and they don't convince themselves. And they're like, you can see it. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but when I'm rubbing the back of that card, I am telling myself, I'm telling them that it's healed. And when I turn it over, I just believe it. I believe what I've done. So I try, obviously I know how it works, but I really believe that I've torn that card and I've somehow restored it. And it's just that sort of attitude of really conveying that you've done magic can sometimes just take your performance up a notch. The easiest way to see it or explain it is to go and see some magicians that perform magic and don't believe in what they're doing. They get through the tricks and to them you could sort of tell they know that it didn't really happen. Whereas just by sort of really instilling, like, look, that card's actually healed, it's torn, trying to convey that message can just give more than just what the performance is about. So that's just like my small tip on presentation, is just sort of really drive home the belief in yourself that you've torn and restored a playing card. And it can just help amplify that magic slightly. Anyway, if you like that, guys, then I love teaching these to you. I've been really excited to share this one for a while. I hope you all had an amazing Christmas. If you want to give something back, please just hit that subscribe button and follow my channel, because I'm here 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays for the Sunday session, teaching you magic, exploring magic with you all, telling you what's been going on and what's coming up. I love making these videos and I hope you've all had the best holiday season ever. I'll be back on Tuesday for the Tuesday tutorial.